In my intervals part 1 video, we learned how to make major intervals. When we take a major interval and make it smaller, it becomes a minor interval. Here's an example with C as the lowest note. This is a major third. And if we make it smaller, by lowering the E, it becomes a minor third. Let's try the same thing with D as our lowest note. Since the key of D includes an F sharp, so does our major third. Now we can make this interval smaller by removing the sharp. That makes the top note go from F sharp to F natural, and then we make a minor third. Now if a minor interval becomes smaller, we call it diminished. So this is a diminished third, and so is this. Let's try the same thing with A as the lowest note. Here's a major sixth above A. And we need that F sharp because the key signature of A includes an F sharp. So that's our major sixth, and we can lower, or we can make that sixth smaller by taking out the sharp. Now we've made a minor sixth, and if we lower that top note again by adding a flat, it becomes diminished. Now notice I've been saying make it smaller in order to change an interval from major to minor, but we've always been lowering the top note in order to make it smaller. This can also be done by raising the bottom note. Let's start with that same major sixth, A to F sharp. Now this time we'll make the minor sixth by raising the bottom note. And then we can do that again with a double sharp. We can raise the bottom note once again to make a diminished sixth. So this diagram, major, minor, diminished, works for all seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths. However, if instead of a major interval we start with a perfect interval and make it smaller, we don't call it minor. We skip right past minor and call it diminished. Remember, perfect intervals are unisons, fourths, fifths, and octaves. Here's an example of a perfect fifth followed by a diminished fifth. There's no such thing as a minor fifth. In fact, there's no such thing as a minor unison, fourth, fifth, or octave. So major intervals become minor, then diminished. Perfect intervals just become diminished. But one thing that both major and perfect intervals have in common is that if you make either of them bigger, they become augmented. Here's an example of a major third followed by an augmented third. And here's a perfect fifth followed by an augmented fifth. For more practice with intervals, use the interval section of Music Theory Pro.